This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Pico Playhouse for the world premiere of
Fugu. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Howard Teichman. I'm the artistic director, producer, director, and writer of Fugu.
So question, why did you decide to write this piece, or direct this piece?
Well, the reason why I wrote it was because many years ago I was at a Passover Seder, and I found out that there were Jews who emigrated to Japan in a way to escape the Holocaust. When I found that out, me and my writing partner decided to research the idea of that, and we came across this Fugu plan, the Japanese government wanting to emigrate Jews to Japan in order to not go to war. After all, they were planning to go to war, but these ministers didn't want to do that. They wanted peace. They knew that if they awakened the sleeping giant, that they were going to lose.
You know, I actually heard about this guy, I think when I was watching Schindler's List. There were some documentaries done about it. And then I was thinking, I have never heard anything about this guy. And actually, even in this piece, you really kind of brush over the guy who actually did all
Sugihara? Well, Sugihara was the consul general in Lithuania who wrote the exit visas for the Jews to go to Kobe, Japan. And there is movies about him. There's a lot of history about him. But my writing partner, Steve Simon, we wanted to concentrate on what happened to the Jews when they got to Kobe, and certainly about the Fugu plan. Although it failed, it still was an important message that even out of bad comes good.
I always ask directors about their casting because I feel that in between casting and the script, that's like 90% of the piece. So what do you look for in your casting?
Well, I certainly look for someone who can think on their feet. I look for someone who fits the temperament of the character that is in the script. I'm also looking for someone who can project and someone who can take the script and analyze it and be able to interpret the word and communicate that to an audience.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they'll see a historical documentary that has some heart to it, some humanity. And the important thing of that is that our theater, West Coast Jewish Theater, tries to bridge cultures, whether it be Jews and Japanese, Jews and African Americans, Jews and Hispanics. Our goal is to make sure that we all have the same desires, wants, that it doesn't matter what creed or color we are, that the important thing is that we strive to all be human beings.
Do you know you guys opened up during Lunar New Year? Was that intentional?
Yes. Although I didn't know anything about it. I'm being honest. No. You know what? Sometimes God takes his hand and brings you along in a way that even though it's not revealed to you, the important thing is that when it does reveal to you, that you embrace it.
I really liked the piece. I thought it was fantastic. I loved all the actors. I thought they were very professional. Thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Steve Simon. I'm the playwright of Fugu. I live in Connecticut. I've been an actor and director and writer in theater for the last 25 to 30 years. I'm currently a clinical social worker living in North Haven, Connecticut.
So, question, why did you decide to write this piece?
Well, Howard came to me with the idea that he had found some information out about Jews living in Japan and fleeing from the Nazis and being saved by the Japanese, and I thought it was a fascinating story. So we researched it. We spent many months reading books and interviewing some people and getting some information. And the more we dove into it, the more fascinating it became, and the more the realization upon us that there were real heroes here that saved lives.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they're going to see a combination of a documentary of history that most people don't know, but I also think it's more about the connection of human beings and how we all are much more alike than we are different. And I think it's entertaining. I think there's humor. And I think there's a real need in this day and age, and where we are right now, for more of this kind of message to get out there.
You know, I was actually once told that the Asians nowadays are considered like the Jews of the United States, like the new class. You know, like the blacks are considered like the old Irish, the Latinos are considered like the Italians, and the Asians are considered like the Jews. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are that I like looking for similarities in different groups. I think it's the way to go. I think empathy and understanding and bringing people closer together to realize we are all the same. We want the same things. We have the same dreams, the same hopes. And I think this piece really at the heart of it exemplifies that, and that despite very, very difficult situations and enormous obstacles, we can achieve that if we really, really look at one another honestly.
I really liked the piece you wrote. I thought it was entertaining because it's historically accurate. So there's certain things you have to do. I mean, certain people have to win, certain people have to lose, certain people can't get married, certain people have to get married. But it was actually very entertaining the way you guys wrote it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. That was what our goal was. This play was worked on for many years through many different scripts, but I have to give all the credit to my writing partner, Howard Teichman. He made this happen. He believed in the show since we wrote it, and he promised me many years ago that he would make it happen, and he certainly did. And I'm very, very proud to be associated with it.
Once again, I really enjoyed the piece. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
I'm Scott KG Takeda. I am a native Angelino, surprisingly. I don't find a lot of those anymore. But I grew up kind of doing theater in school. I went to college. I went to Pepperdine, got a BA in theater, and have been acting ever since. I played Setsuzo Kotsuji. I think he's a very fascinating character. He was obviously a real person. He was the liaison to Colonel Yasue and one of the officials of the Japanese Foreign Ministry. But he has, in this play, he has a very real struggle of staying true to his Japanese culture. Obviously, in Japan, there's a huge a need to stay true to your traditions and all that, but he also finds himself falling for a Jewish girl as well, and there's the struggle of wanting to pursue that, but knowing that he can't.
Leading men usually have an easier time because obviously a lot of times they're just playing themselves. Villains have to do a great deal of acting, but still there's a tremendous amount of acting needed for that, and I really liked your performance. I thought you were very, very good.
Thank you much. Thank you very much. Thank you much. That was weird. But first of all, thanks for calling me a leading man, because as an Asian American male, that's very unusual. So the fact that there's an opportunity like that in a play like this already is something that I wanted to be a part of and wanted to be involved with. But yeah, I think it's not a role that I would normally have the opportunity to play. So I think being able to explore that, but alongside with his conflict, I think it's been a very interesting process for me.
You know, I once heard that the Asians were described as the modern Jews of the times. You know, like they're like 10% of Harvard is Asian or something. They work really hard. A lot of them being doctors and all that. This piece kind of has a bit of a comparison between the races. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. In this piece, that's something that we kind of focused on a lot. I think even in the writing process, I know that Howard and Steve tried to find the similarities between the two cultures, and there are surprisingly quite a few. And you'll see that in this show. But I think it kind of opens it up to a broader picture that, especially in today's climate, there's so many different cultures, so many different types of people, but at the same time, we're all just people. We all have similar struggles, and there's something to be said about that in the way that everyone can relate to this story, and especially all the different characters in this show represent different people in real life, and it's very relatable in that way.
I really loved your performance, and I thought you guys were fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Rosie Moss. I'm from New York City originally. I went to Boston University, and I've been focusing on film and TV since I've moved to LA, and this is actually my stage debut over here. I play Sarah Kaufman.
What's your take on Sarah?
She is a woman who is stuck in a culture that is keeping her quiet, and she has a lot she wants to say, and so she's trying to figure out how to break out.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They're going to see a really timely story. This takes place during World War II, but as you'll see, not so much has changed, and these are issues that we're still dealing with today of how do we take two very different cultures and find peace together and appreciate our similarities.
I really enjoyed the piece. I thought it was very riveting. Again, it's almost like seeing a documentary or maybe seeing some kind of history piece, but it was actually very entertaining at the same time.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think that's the goal. These are based on real characters, some real characters, so it's sort of a historical fiction. I'm glad you enjoyed it and that you also learned something as well.
Again, I enjoyed your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Peter Altschuler. I am the rabbi in Fugu. I bridge the gap between the two cultures, or try to, and try to emphasize or empathize with both sides of the cultural divide. He's caught in a difficult position where he has to understand both his own people's needs and concerns, but also at the same time those of his Japanese hosts. And being true to his religious faith, he needs to be accepting, but at the same time keep that dividing line between what's pure and not pure, and that's exactly what the Japanese are faced with.
I really like this piece a lot because basically, first of all, it was historically accurate. So there's certain things you can do, certain things you can't do if you still want to make it a true story and all that. I thought it was done very well. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that the balance there is phenomenal. And it brings in what those conflicts of war are in times like this, when the stresses are much stronger than they would be ordinarily, and how it affects people's emotional well-being and their desires.
I also enjoyed everyone's acting. I thought you guys, for a small theater here, very professional acting. I thought you guys were fantastic.
We've got a really great crew of people, and we're all very supportive of one another. We work with each other before each show and make sure that we're all on track to what we have to do, and the things that we might have missed before, we make a note of and try and make sure we don't do it again.
Once again, I really loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Ryan Moriarty. So I was actually born here in Huntington Beach, California, but didn't stay here too long. I actually grew up primarily in Tokyo, Japan. I played Colonel Yasue. I think he's a very honorable and very strong man. I mean, he had a lot to deal with, and I believe what his purpose was, he had a very strong conviction, and he was very honorable.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they'll see a part of history that a lot of us were not very familiar about or even heard about. Like I said, I grew up in Tokyo and I never heard about Jews being there or even in China. So it was very informative and very good story to be told.
I was once told that they look at the Asians as like the modern Jews in the United States, where they're like, they're getting highly educated. They're all, like 10% of Harvard is Asian. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's very interesting you say that because our director, Howard Teichman, he actually provided some informational videos to us prior to this, and it actually showed all the similarities between the Japanese culture and the Jewish culture, and I was really surprised at really the similarities and the beliefs and their values. So it was very interesting to learn.
I really enjoyed this piece. First of all, I thought everyone's acting was very professional. You guys did a very well job in regard to that. But I also liked the message behind it. It was a very basic message of struggling over hard times. I guess a bit of faith. Taking a leap of faith here and there. What are your thoughts on that?
First off, thank you very much. And second, yes, I believe that. When I first read the script, I was the one thing I had to tackle to kind of get around Colonel Yasue not being exploitive of the Jewish community and not just using them as an ends to a means. And after reading more about his biography and what he was about, I learned to really respect him. I mean, his intentions were always to take care of the Jews. They always took care of them. They never wanted to treat them poorly or force them into this decision. It was more, let's work together for peace and unity and avoid war.
Once again, I really liked your performance in it. I liked the performance as a whole. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Marcelo Serra. I play Captain Matsuyoka. I'm the anti-hero here in the play. I think he represents a person who's very nationalistic. When all things are crumbling around him, there should be at least one who will stick with age-old values and tradition, because it is important. It signifies that there's continuity of that legacy.
Great. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, you could tell them there's drama, there's romance, there's mystery, because all of those elements have been cooked up by our great writers so that it would be very appealing to all races and people from all walks of life.
I really enjoyed this piece. I thought it was, first of all, I thought it was, well, it being historically accurate, I guess there's certain things you have to do about it, but it was actually very entertaining.
Indeed it is, because we have brought also our expertise in the acting field, plus, he had prompted us on what the cultures of these two different groups, the Japanese and the Jewish, and also impressed upon us the very close similarities between these cultures.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, they should expect to see human drama, the saga of just how it is to survive in today's political climate, because this is akin to whatever generation you find yourself in. There will always be struggles, and it is the story of endearing human spirit.
I really enjoyed your performance. I enjoyed everyone's performance tonight. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you as well.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Bryna Weiss. I've been a professional actress for many, many years. I come from the East Coast. I've been here now about 25 years, which I can't believe, and I love it. And I love stage, I love movies, I love television, and it's good to be doing all those things. I play Mrs. Dovich, who is not exactly a survivor, because these people never did have to go to a camp. Because of Sugihara, she escaped out of Germany or Poland and into Japan, and she was a wealthy woman, used to everything being very easy and very comfortable. And of course, now she has nothing, and she is a lost soul, because she's a little bit crazy, and frightened, and sort of rejects the idea of these men ordering her around, and Sarah.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, I think a very classy production. All of us have very strong professional credits, so they will see good acting. They'll see a beautiful set, and I think a very interesting story, which many of us never knew about. So I think will be a very interesting and rewarding experience.
I actually kind of like the cultural divide also between Asian and Jewish. I was actually once told that some people consider the Asians the modern day Jews of the United States.
Really?
Have you heard that?
No, but I did hear stories that people thought that Japan might have been the lost tribes of the Jews many centuries ago. I don't know how true that is. Of course, nobody would know that, but that's the only thing I heard. But I think we have a lot of the same values.
That's right.
Family, and taking care of each other.
Also, a drive towards education,
Yes.
towards learning, towards working hard work ethic.
Exactly.
Yeah, towards good family, always obeying your parents and all that.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Once again, I really enjoyed your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Matt Gottlieb. I was born and raised in Israel originally. I came here when I was 19, so I'm one of the original Jews. And I'm playing Max Kaminsky and one of the Hasidic dancers. So I do a dance with one of our Japanese actresses that opens the show. And Max is kind of a feisty Jew that is not very happy about the current situation. So he causes a lot of trouble to his fellow community people and to the Japanese as well. I feel like Max, I mean, he's scared because they're in a situation where, they're running away and they're not welcome where they are at the moment. And there's always that fear of being captured and not surviving. So I'm sure that's a very stressful situation. But at the same time, he's one of those Jews that is just never happy, and he has to take care of his own. So
if some of my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see? The historical element, I think, is very important. But what I really like about our piece is that even though it deals with thousands of Jews and the political structure, it has the intimacy of you have the relationships between the father and the daughter and the community and the Japanese. So they can expect a very intimate play at the same time, and something that I think they'll be able to relate to just as human beings. I really enjoyed the piece. I enjoyed your performance in it too. I thought you guys were very professional.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being on the show. Fugu
will be playing at the Pico Playhouse from January 28th to March 19th. For more information, go to www.wcjt.org.